Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And I am back today with another book haul, and this time it has a very heavy graphic novel tilt to it. So really looking forward to sharing with you guys some really cool graphic novels that I found recently, plus all of the other books that have come into my possession over the past month or so, I guess now. So yeah, lots of good things to get through today. Actually, not a lot, a smaller stack than normal, but I'm very happy with what I was able to find. So let's get into this. If you guys have a second though, hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right in to my latest book haul. I actually even have a manga in this haul today, and so I'll start with that one because there's only one. So I finally was able to find Volume 8 of Spy Family, and this is written by Tatsuya Endo. I love this series. If you guys follow the channel, you'll know that this is my favorite manga series I've ever read, and I just love this fake family that has come together here. This follows that family, the Forger family. I will show you guys here. That is our family. So we have Lloyd, aka Twilight, who is a spy. We have Yor, who is an assassin. And then we have Anya, who is a, telepath, I guess is what you would call. Is that what she's... I guess that's what her title would be. She reads people's minds. And then we have Bond, who is the family dog, who also has some special powers. So it's just a really, beautiful family. The story's fantastic. And so I need to get caught back up. So I actually have Volume 7 over there, which I have to get caught up on so I can get to Volume 8. But I hadn't been able to find this one at Barnes & Noble. I went to Target, and lo and behold, there it was. And I actually got 20% off, so it was only $8 as opposed to 10. So that's a really good deal. So I can't complain too much. But yeah, very happy to have this one in the collection now, and looking forward to continuing on with Spy Family sooner rather than later. So the only manga I picked up recently is Spy Family Volume 8. Okay, so I'll move over to the books now, and the 3 books I found were all from my local used bookstore. Well, not my local one, but close enough. It's kind of a distance away, but they always do a 5th Saturday sale where you get 20% off books on the 5th, whenever there's a 5th Saturday in the month. And so that's when I grabbed these, and I also did some trade-ins, so I paid even less for these. But I'll start with my middle grade here. This is American Chillers, Volume 1, or book number 1, I guess I should say. Where is it? Right there. And this is The Michigan Mega Monster. So these are all written by Jonathan Rand, who of course does the Michigan Chillers series as well. And I love that he went from Michigan Chillers over to American Chillers and still started with his home state of Michigan. So I thought that's pretty cool. But yeah, this one looks good. And I don't have book number 1 in American Chillers, so I had to pick it up. These, of course, are Goosebumps style books, in that same vein, middle grade horror. So looking forward to diving into this one eventually. This is American Chillers, book number 1, The Michigan Mega Monster, written by Jonathan Rand. I did find a point horror book, which is awesome, and this is from 1989. I was very happy to find this. This is Trick or Treat, written by Richie Tankersley Cusick, who is, of course, a very well-known point horror author. And yeah, this one just looks really cool. First off, I love the cover. You have the creepy dude on the side there. That's great. On the back, it says Dressed to Kill. But I guess basically this is somebody playing pranks on someone, and the pranks kind of escalate a little bit, and then there's a phone call in here that says, "Trick or treat, Martha, you're dead." And that's when things kind of pick up. So it reminds me a lot of the Babysitter series, which was what is it? Hi Babs, I'm Back, I think was Babysitter 2. That was on the back of that book. I love the Babysitter books. But anyway, yeah, this one reminds me of that. Again, it's point horror, just like those. So really looking forward to checking this one out. This is Trick or Treat by Richie Tankersley Cusick. Next up is so random to me because I'm not even a Trekkie, but I had to pick this one up. This is Star Trek Chronology, The History of the Future, and this is by Michael Okuda and Denise Okuda. So this thing is large, but this is basically a canon. Well, I guess nothing Star Trek outside of the shows and the movies is canon. None of the books are. But it's going to cover everything Star Trek in chronological order, which is just really cool to me. Even though I, would not consider myself a Trekkie, I do have a ton of Star Trek books that I need to get around to eventually. I actually just picked up recently Star Trek The Next Generation. I picked that up on Vudu, so digitally I got that for $20 for the complete series in HD. So that was a really great deal. So I'll be watching that at some point. I did start watching the original series maybe a year or two ago and got a handful of episodes in, was really enjoying it, but I just never ended up going back to it. So I definitely want to dive into the Star Trek universe more at some point, and I love books like this. Like I have one that for Star Wars, which obviously I'm a lot more familiar with. Oh, there's Whoopi right there. But anyway, I have one for Star Wars that is very similar, so I thought this would just be really cool to have in the collection. So yeah, though I'm not a Trekkie, like this is awesome, and I'm very happy to have this one. So this is the Star Trek Chronicles: The History of the Future by Michael and Denise Okuda. So that's the last one I ended up grabbing from my local used bookstore, but now I do have some Ollie's finds to talk about. Most everything I grabbed from Ollie's was a graphic novel, except for this first one here. This is the only book I grabbed, another like media-related book. This is Best Movies of the 80s, and this one is written by Heather O'Hara. So this thing is another big one, and it's beautiful. And this was like $5 or something. It was very cheap, and it just has a whole bunch of 80s movies in here, not just horror, of course, all different types. Here's 9 to 5, for example. But yeah, just big pictures that look great. You know, it has like 1986 highlights. It goes through every year in the decade, giving highlights and recommendations. Like, this is a really cool book. And so I figured, yeah, let's grab this one. There are 50 different, 50 classic 80s movies discussed in here. I love books like this. I have so many. Frankly, I probably have too many, but some of these I love having in the collection. So I thought this was too cool to pass up, especially for that price. So this is Best Movies of the 80s, written by Heather O'Hara. A really cool one if you can find it at your local Ollie's. I didn't mention it, but when I was at Ollie's, I was actually able to use a 15% off your entire order coupon. And so that means that everything else I'm showing here, which is all graphic novels, I spent less than $3 a piece on, which is ridiculous. Like, so cheap. And so, yeah, for like, it was less than $2.50, I think. It was ridiculous. And so, anyway, I'm going to show you guys the graphic novels I picked up, all from the New 52, if I'm not mistaken. This is Nightwing Volume 1, Traps and Trapezes, and this is written by Kyle Higgins and Eddie Barrows. So this, of course, is following the story of Nightwing. You can see Volume 1, and I also found Volume 2, which is, what's the subtitle on this one? Night of the Owls. And so I was definitely picking up, like, runs when I could, and this was one of those. I may have had Nightwing in the past, this volume of it, but I don't have it anymore. I must have gotten rid of it or whatever. But whenever I'm able to find a couple, like, then I'm more inclined to pick them up. So yeah, I figured I would grab both of these, Nightwing Volume 1 and Volume 2 from the New 52, which is very cool. And then really the reason I picked up Nightwing is because it all ties into this series here, which I've heard amazing things about. I've actually read the first volume of this when it was in issue form, and I really liked it, but I just never went back to it all those years ago. This is Batman Volume 1, The Court of Owls, of course, the Scott Snyder run of New 52, which is one of the more acclaimed runs of Batman in recent years. So I was able to find Volume 1, which is, again, The Court of Owls. Volume 2, The City of Owls. Volume 3, Death of the Family. Volume 4, Zero Year, Secret City, which actually is a prequel to all of this. And then Zero Year, Dark City. So this is like Volume 2 of Zero Year. So the 0 Year books are prequels to the Court of Owls story. So yeah, all 5 volumes. Now, 1, 3, 4, and 5 I got from Ollie's. Volume 2 they didn't have, so this one I actually did have to spend a little bit more on and grab it off of Amazon, but still, that's fine. I got everything else so cheap that, like, it doesn't even matter. So, all of the first 5 volumes of Batman by Scott Snyder, and this is one, this represents basically the first omnibus volume of this run, so that's why I ended up going with the first 6. They had like random ones for like 7, 8, 9 or something like that, or maybe 6, 8, 9. I don't remember exactly. But they didn't have everything. And so I figured, you know what? Start with this. If I read this, then I can, I will allow myself to pick up the rest. But yeah, I've heard great things. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first volume of this when I read it. So I'm all in now. Like, I am very excited to check out the rest of the Scott Snyder Batman story. And again, less than $3 a piece on all of these, which is just amazing, excluding Volume 2, which I did spend whatever. It was like $12 or whatever on Amazon. So yeah, very excited to have the Scott Snyder run of Batman, at least the first half of it, because this whole run is 10 volumes long, if I'm not mistaken. So they think there's 2 different omnibus volumes. But yeah, very happy to have Batman in the collection. Anytime I can add Batman, I'm all about it, especially for this price. Oh my goodness, this is surprisingly heavy for what it is, but that is today's book haul. Like I said, a very heavy graphic novel tilt, but that is always fine by me. I've been trying to buy less and less books, but I'll pick up graphic novels when they're that cheap. So very excited about everything I was able to find today. But let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of these? Have you read the Snyder Batman run? Is it as good as I've heard it is? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on these and anything else down in the comments below. I really do always appreciate those. So thanks so much for that support. So the time now is, well, I don't know exactly what time it is. I was trying to be dramatic, but either way, I have only a couple hours now until I'm actually heading off to officiate my little sister's wedding. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm actually filming a little earlier than normal because I have a busy weekend ahead. So yeah, hopefully everything will go well by the time this video goes live, but fingers crossed, we shall see. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. So if you enjoyed this one, please hit that like button down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk books, I talk all things media. Books, graphic novels, manga, video games, movies, of course. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching this one. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today. I'll catch you next time.